Getting a little started just a few minutes late tonight as we are ready for Evansville Otters baseball here from beautiful Joliet, Illinois. Pleasure to be bringing you the Otters. I'm Matthew Will, once again joining you for another edition of Evansville Otters baseball. Otters are on a 3-game losing streak, and right now things are not going well at the plate. They're getting men on board, but they're not able to bring them home. I'm sure that's a big point of emphasis going into a game tonight. Well, I'm sure the Otters have a fire under their bellies. They've been knocked down to third in the Frontier League West Division after last night's loss and Schaumburg's win. So things matter just a little bit more now that we are in the month of August. Final warm-up pitch has been tossed by Steve Moyers, the lefty for Joliet tonight, and he is ready to face this Evansville Otters lineup. It'll start off with the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game, right fielder Elijah McNamee, the designated hitter Zach Biermann, and the left fielder Jeffrey Baez. The middle three is first baseman Steven Sinsley, third baseman J.R. Davis, and center fielder Miles Gordon. Before the shortstop, George Khalil, catcher Brody Tanksley, and second baseman Andy Armstrong round out tonight's order. Elijah McNamee, the Edward Jones leadoff hitter at the game, ready for the first pitch of this one. And he puts it right back up the middle towards McGarry at second. He'll play the ball over to first on an off-balance throw in time for out number one. One pitch, one out so far in this ball game. And I introduced you at least to the second baseman. Let's walk around the rest of the defensive alignment for Joliet this evening. Matt Feinstein plays in left, Jacobson in center, Gunter out in right. Across the infield, however, Wallace will play at third, DePrita Johnson at short, McGarry at second, Ware playing first, Fullerton mans things behind the plate. So one out and nobody on. Zach Biermann making his way to the plate, takes a first pitch strike on the outside edge. The man that is calling balls and strikes tonight will be Kevin Worth, as Biermann sends one right back up the middle into the glove of Moyers on the mound. And it's a simple play to put the Otters 2 up, 2 down. Kevin Worth calling things behind the plate. Meanwhile, Elijah Bester will be the umpire on the right side of the infield. Kurt Brandon mans things on the left side of the infield. So Jeffrey Baez making his way towards the plate now. He did not play in last night's game, at least didn't start in last night's game. He came in as a pinch hitter in the bottom of the ninth inning, the top of the ninth inning, but he flew out to center. First pitch to him here, taken on the inside edge for a called strike one. And now time was called by someone, as Baez stood out and was looking down the third base line. Not exactly sure who had called time, but we're ready for an 0-1. And Baez will foul this one off the top of his foot over towards the backstop. Giving you my thoughts on the starting nine tonight, I am glad to see Brody Tanksley getting another opportunity behind the dish. I thought he was good last night. Thought his bat was a great addition as well, so it's good to see him having another chance. 0-2 falls low and inside. They'll go check down with the first base umpire, who says no. Baez did not go around. The 1-2 to Jeffrey Baez, put out towards right field. Gunter will work in towards it, and that's out number 3. Very quick inning of work for Steve Moyers, the lefty. And we head to the bottom half of the first. Still scoreless in Joliet. As we head to the bottom half of the first inning, want to introduce you to the brand new Evansville Otter, Mikhail Hilliard, who will get the nod on the mound for Evansville tonight. He was just brought in via trade last week from the Sioux City Explorers in the American Association. He played his collegiate ball at Louisiana State, better known as LSU, within the SEC, a hard place to be a pitcher, but he was very good. This year, he was 7-1 in his 16 starts for LSU. Went 77 innings, had 73 strikeouts in that time. Across his entire collegiate career, he had a .439 ERA. I can confidently tell you that just about any pitcher will take that, especially in the SEC. Hilliard on the mound, Tanksley behind the plate. That pitcher-catcher battery is sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road, or give them a call at 812-475-9000. First pitch called strike to Matt McGarry. Kicks things off here. Now Hilliard will kick and deliver on the 0-1. That one stays just a hair low. Hilliard was born and raised near Baton Rouge in central Louisiana, where he went to Central High School before, of course, attending Louisiana State. The 1-1 lifted out towards right field. McNamee will work over towards it and bring it in for out number 1. And so far this year, Hilliard has played in 2 games with Sioux City in the American Association. In his 2 starts, he's 0-2. He's had quite a few unearned runs hurt him in those starts, and that's been the big difficulty for him so far this year. The 2-hole hitter, Briley Ware, makes his way to the plate. Hard-hitting first baseman. First pitch to him. Swinging, strike 1. In a subsequent move today, the Otters, after signing Hilliard, also placed John Anthon, the catcher, on the 7-day IL. An 0-1. Stays low and outside. Tanksley's able to keep it in front of him as the count evens up, a ball and a strike. Also, interesting to see just the different style of pitching Hilliard brings as well. Very small guy, 5'11", 165. An inside pitch just misses the zone and takes our count to 2 balls, 1 strike. Defense set up with a little bit of a gap to the left side of second base. As a 2-1 makes its way home to Briley Ware. It graces towards the outside edge of the plate, and because of it, takes the count to 3-1. A 3-1 count, sent home by Hilliard. Low and outside, ball 4. The first base runner of the game for Joliet will be Briley Ware. That will bring up the third baseman, Paxton Wallace. Wallace is batting .354 in his games that he's played so far here with Joliet. First pitch to him. Catches the inside edge for a called strike 1. Don't forget that tomorrow's game is an early start, 1:05 p.m. Don't be late here to the Otter Sigil Network. We'll have every pitch for you. An 0-1 again works towards the inside edge. This one stays a bit too far in there. And because of it, the count evens at 1-1. The 1-1 on its way. Works towards the outside, stays outside, counts 2-1. Hilliard will take a second to reset. As he fires home, catches the inside edge, and evens his count up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. A 2-2, making its way home towards the third baseman, Paxton Wallace. Swinging, strike 3. And it's the first German-American bank strikeout for Mikhail Hilliard. Good work to back up the walk with the strikeout and take this inning to 2 outs with a runner on first. First pitch home to Matt Feinstein. Catches the inside edge for a called strike. That's going to be the place to attack tonight, it looks like. Both pitchers have gotten that inside pitch called for them. An 0-1. That's high and inside, a bit too far in there. Evens the count up. A 1-1 is cranked out towards left center field. Long run for Miles Gordon towards the wall. Gone! And a 2-run home run is going to lift the Slammers on top in this one right away. Hard hit ball out to left center, and it just kept on carrying. Feinstein hits his second home run in as many days against the Otters. Yesterday, it was his home run that paced this game out. Now a ball cranked out towards right. McNamee to the wall. That one's gone. First pitch to Jake Gunter, and he zooms that one out of here. And just like that, it's 3-0 Slammers. Back-to-back home runs for Joliet.
Now batting designated hitter number 28, Carson Maxwell.
So Carson Maxwell, the designated hitter, will stride in. First pitch on the way. Maxwell lets it stay high for ball 1. The 1-0. Swinging strike 1, evens the count up at 1-1. A 1-1 on that inside edge. That one stays too far in there, though. And we'll take our count to 2-1. Two-1 on its way. Swinging strike 2, evens the count up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So with the count even at 2 balls, 2 strikes, Hilliard kicks and delivers to Carson Maxwell. That one's lifted high and foul. Will end up out of the stadium over the top of us. 2-2 on its way home to Carson Maxwell. Called strike 3. And Mikhail Hilliard's going to get 2 German-American Bank strikeouts in the inning, but he also gives up back-to-back home runs, a 2-run and a 3-run that have, a 2-run and a solo that have given the Slammers an early lead here. We head to the second. Joliet leads by 3. Top of the second inning, Evansville finds themselves down in this one after a couple of home runs in the first inning for Joliet has given them an early lead. Certainly not the side of this game Evansville wanted to be on, especially with the way last night's went. And that being said, the way that this last couple of weeks has gone, Otters have struggled to come back from deficits no matter how big they've been. First pitch home to Sinsley. Works towards the outside edge for a called strike 1. Sinsley yesterday was one of 2 Otters with a multi-hit outing, 2 singles and 2 strikeouts for him. The 0-1, and Sinsley is just behind the pitch, falling back in the count. No balls, 2 strikes. The 0-2 falls low for ball 1. That's a good pitch to try to challenge Sinsley with, but he's good enough to lay that one off. And it's a swinging strike 3 that's going to end things here in our opening at-bat of the second inning for Evansville. First strikeout of the day for Moyers. So that will bring up J.R. Davis, who's batting in the 5-hole this evening as opposed to his usual 3 spot. One of a couple of little changes here for Evansville. He's hitting the 5 spot plenty of times this year. Takes a called strike 1 to kick things off. It's a swinging strike 2 now that drops him back big in the count. And now a pitch graces towards the outside edge. Close pitch, but it's left alone for ball 1. Our count's now 1-2. Swinging strike 3. And call it back-to-back strikeouts for Steve Moyers here to kick off the second.
Now batting center fielder number 6, Miles Gordon.
Center fielder Miles Gordon on his way to the plate. His hit streak hit 20 last night. But I can promise you that that was certainly not a big deal for him. Much more worried about finding a way to get the record where it needs to be before any personal gains. Takes a called strike on the outside edge. Now the 0-1. High and outside. That'll even our count up. 1 ball, 1 strike. If you missed it today, or I guess last night is when you could have seen it for the first time, Schaumburg won last night, and because of that and Evansville's loss, Schaumburg jumped the Otters in the standings, and Evansville now sits in the 3rd spot. 9.5 games out of first, a half game out of second, and more importantly, Evansville just sits 4 games shy of Joliet. And a swinging strike 3 from Gordon is going to quickly end this inning. Steve Moyers strikes out the side, and we are quickly on our way to the bottom half of the second. Evansville still scoreless, down by 3 to the Slammers. Bottom half of the second inning here from Dooley Health Group Field, Joliet, Illinois. Mikhail Hilliard hoping for a better half inning than his first one, where he gave up the back-to-back home runs that gave Joliet a 3-0 advantage here as we approach the bottom half of the second inning. Lots going on in the Frontier League tonight. I want to keep you up to date with what's going on north of the border. Ottawa up 4-3 on Quebec in the bottom of the 5th inning. Titans are trying to narrow that lead over there in the east that Quebec is still hanging on to. Sussex County, my goodness, 13-0 in the bottom of the 3rd against New Jersey. The battle of the Garden State well in favor of the Miners so far tonight. Lake Erie's up to a 4-0 advantage. They're in Avon hosting the Florence Yalls tonight. 4-0, bottom of the 4th inning. 0-1 comes home and is foul tipped into the glove of Tanksley to take the count to 0-2 for Tyler DePretta Johnson. In New York, the Boulders down 1-0 to Trois-Rivières. They're in the top of the 3rd inning right now. 0-2 to DePretta Johnson. Put in play towards Armstrong at second. He'll play it on 1 hop. The throw over to first is in time for out number 1. As we move across to some more West Division play, Windy City, not far from here, up to a 2-1 advantage on Schaumburg in the top of the 2nd inning. And one final score out there on the east, Tri-City up to a 2-0 advantage against the Empire State Grays. The one other game going on tonight is just kicking off in Sauget. Washington and Gateway are just about to get started. First pitch home to J.P. Fullerton. Big curveball never broke down into the zone. Here's what's even worse for you. Sussex County scored all 13 runs in the 1st inning tonight. Imagine letting your pitcher come out for the 2nd time in the day and he's already got a 13-run advantage. In fact, as they go through the order for the 3rd or the 4th time already, There's already 4 guys with multi-hit games. Ball put in play towards the right field corner. McNamee will run towards it, and it drops in for a base hit. McNamee with a good throw out towards second. It's going to be close, but they say it is a safe play. J.P. Fullerton gets himself a double, but the Otters all give a nod out to Elijah McNamee, who put that ball in a perfect place. Just ended up a half second too short.
Center fielder number 13, Kyle Jacobson.
So Kyle Jacobson, the final slammer to make his way to the plate in the game. He is batting ninth tonight, playing center field. One out, 1 man on with Kyle Jacobson at the plate now. First pitch home. Another good curveball, but it didn't get its good break down into the zone. So it's ball 1. One ball, no strikes to Kyle Jacobson. Ball is sent back into the netting. Otters down 3-0 after Mikhail Hilliard gave up back-to-back home runs in that first inning, a 2-run home run and then a solo home run. And that's the difference maker so far in this one. 1-0 is the count for the 9-hole hitter Kyle Jacobson. He takes that one well inside. We'll take a lead in the count at 2 balls, 1 strike. Tomorrow afternoon's game, a 1:05 first pitch. Make sure you have that one on the calendar so that you don't miss it. Time is called as some sort of ball made its way onto the field on the first base side of things, and Steven Sinsley had to go grab it and throw it back up onto the berm. So now looks like we're ready to go for Kyle Jacobson. Big shift on for him as Andy Armstrong playing very close to second. George Khalil playing halfway between second and third. A 2-1 on its way. That one is fouled right into the leg of Jacobson. Aggressively into his ankle, and he immediately falls to the ground. And immediately both his manager and training staff are going to come make sure everything's all right. Jacobson is walking around. And it looks like he is heading towards the bat. He's ready to keep going. His count's evened up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. He's gotten the nod from everybody, and he's ready to keep going. So it looks like we should be ready to go now. Prior to a 2-2 pitch. 1 out, 1 man on. Pitch comes home, and it's lifted high and foul to the right side. It's going to end up on the berm over there. It will not be in play. Steven Sinsley made a good run towards it over there. Ran out of room, though. So we regroup with the count still at 2-2. Still a man at second, still 1 out. Mikhail Hilliard trying to get himself through a couple innings unscathed. A 2-2. Put out towards left and just over the glove of George Khalil. He almost brought it in for out 2. Instead, it is a single and back-to-back hits for Joliet.
Batting second baseman, number 8, McGarry.
So back to the top of the order we go, and Matt McGarry making his way to the plate. He flew out to right field his first time up. Otters are playing at double play depth now with runners at first and second and just one out. Because of the way that single looked, the man on second, J.P. Fullerton, did not risk going to third because he was afraid it was going to be caught. That's why the runners stay at first and second. First pitch home to Tanksley stays just a hair inside, ball 1. Tonight is Star Wars night here at the ballpark, as well as Boy Scout night. Sounds like they're having a big overnight camping here on the field. The 1-0 makes its way home for Matt McGarry. And that one does catch the zone on the low inside corner. Count evens up. 1 ball, 1 strike. One ball, 1 strike. As the pitch makes its way home, and it actually hits McGarry in the left shoulder and has loaded the bases with just 1 out. See if that requires a meeting from Max Peterson potentially. And actually, no, it's J.R. Davis who calls the meeting out there on the diamond. He brings his entire infield in to talk with the new pitcher, Mikhail Hilliard. And of course, I'll give some of it to letting it be private and letting it be behind closed doors. But I will mention that J.R. Davis pulled the team aside today, and he talked to him about making sure the priority was where it needed to be with this game, and also focusing on facing things one pitch at a time, one play at a time, as opposed to, hey, look, we're down by this many. Hey, look, we're up by this many. And instead, making it hey, we got to win this pitch on our way to winning this game. And it was good to hear his leadership there, and it's good to see his leadership here as well as he gets the entire infield in and working. Bases are loaded. Fullerton at third, Jacobson at second, McGarry at first. There's 1 out on the board. And Briley Ware, potentially one of the best RBI men in the entire league, certainly the best RBI man on this Joliet team. I'm sure his eyes are glowing on an opportunity like this. Evansville does have a man starting to warm up. It looks like Jacob Bowles down there. An 0-1. Finds a called strike and takes things down to 0-2. An 0-2. Comes home to Ware. He lifts the ball out towards right field. Mackey will chase back towards it, bring it in for out number 2. And 2 runners will try to advance, and they both will successfully. A run's going to score on a sac fly. RBI for Briley Ware. McGarry's going to stay at first, but Fullerton will score, and Jacobson reaches third. And more importantly for Joliet, their lead has expanded to 4. Otters have come back from 3 before this season, but never have they won a game when they trailed by 4 at any point. First pitch stays low, 4-1. Runners on the corners, 2 outs. They're going to throw over to first and back in time. is Matt McGarry. Paxton Wallace at the plate now. Wallace struck out his prior time. Ball inside, but catching the zone evens our count up. 1 ball, 1 strike. A 1 ball, 1 strike count to Wallace with the bases half full. Man on first, man on third. A 1-1 swinging strike 2 as that ball went towards the turf here, and Wallace really dug towards down it. And because of the swing down towards into the dirt, Tanksley lost the ball there for a second, but kept it between the legs and kept the runner at third, most importantly. Ball put back into the netting will keep the at-bat alive. So we reset prior to the 1-2. That one stays in the dust. But Tanksley able to smash it right there. So our count evens up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 outs and 2 men on. The 2-2 from Hilliard. Put in play towards Khalil at short. He plays it on a hop. The throw to second will get the 1 out the Otters need. But another run will score for Joliet on a sacrifice fly from Briley Ware. We head to the third. Joliet leads by 4. Top of the third inning, and Evansville getting ready to bring the 7, 8, 9 hitters to the plate. George Khalil, Brody Tanksley, and Andy Armstrong set to face off here in this half inning. George Khalil, shortstop for the Otters, had 1 hit last night, but then was caught in a rundown between third and home on a strange ground out. Takes ball one on the inside edge. Now a called strike right over the heart of the plate. The 1-1. Swinging strike two on a pitch that just stayed low and in the dirt. Khalil having to battle from behind on the 1-2. Moyers sends it that way, and it's a swinging strike three. 4 straight strikeouts now for Moyers. And with it, the catcher Brody Tanksley on his way to the plate. Otters are wearing their primary blue jerseys with the white script Otters on the front, white numbers on the back. First pitch to Tanksley, taken for a called strike one. Of course, that means they're wearing the all blue caps with the gray fronts. Joliet's wearing their all whites, white up top, white on bottom. Slammers written across the front in green. As an 0-1's taken for a called strike two. They also have the green numbers on the back. All the numbers and lettering on their jerseys is trimmed by their orange, and they've got the all green caps with the jailbird on. 0-2 to Tanksley, swinging strike three, and make it 5 straight strikeouts now for Moyers.
Now batting second baseman number 1, Andy Armstrong.
So the 9-hole hitter Andy Armstrong makes its way to the plate. He's still hoping to be the first hit for Evansville in this game. First pitch to him, sent sharply towards the shortstop to Johnson, who will misplay this one. And it'll end up as Armstrong making his way to first. I imagine they'll award it as an error instead of a hit. And indeed they do. Otters get their first base runner of the game, but it comes on an error from the shortstop to Johnson, one of the league's best middle infielders. Defensively, makes a rare error there. So back to the top of the order we go, where Edward Jones, leadoff hitter of the game, Elijah McNamee strides in. First pitch to Mac. Hit on the ground towards the third baseman Wallace. He'll make a strong throw to first, and that's in time for out number 3. Otters gifted with the base runner via error, but they can't do anything with it. We head to the bottom half of the third. Otters trail by 4. Bottom of the third, and Matt Feinstein makes his way to the plate. Second time for him on the day. His last time up, he had a 2-run home run that, at least right now, is the deciding factor in this one. First pitch home from Hilliard. He's on its way. Called strike at the knees. Feinstein seemed a little bit surprised that that one was called. Now an outside pitch evens the count up. 1 ball, 1 strike. The 1-1. Put on the ground towards Khalil. He'll play it on a few hops. The throw to first does make it there in time for out number 1. One of the things that makes George Khalil special, how fluidly he plays that ball from his glove into his throwing hand. One out, nobody on, and the left-handed hitter Jake Gunter making his way to the plate. Had a home run his last time up. First pitch to him here. He's taken for a called strike on that outside edge. Now an 0-1. Graces the outside edge yet again, takes the count to 0-2. Gunter was drafted by the Tampa Bay Rays in the 7th round of 2019 out of TCU. He played for a year in rookie ball and then 2 separate seasons as part of High A. Was in High A this year before he fell out and was signed by Joliet yesterday. The 0-2 is swung on and fouled into the glove of Tanksley, and then it falls out, so count does stay at 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes for Jake Gunter. 1-1 on the day with his home run in the first. The 0-2 comes home and stays low for ball 1. First ball in the at-bat. The 1-2 to Gunter. Hit on the right side of the infield. Armstrong will play it into his glove. He waits and throws to first and just barely beats the runner Gunter. He was trying to wait on Sinsley to get to the bag, so he waited a couple extra seconds before throwing, and ended up being a rather close play. So the first pitch home to Carson Maxwell with 2 outs and nobody on. On the way now, going outside ball 1. And I just heard from the director of broadcasting at Sussex County that 13 runs for the Miners in the first inning is the most in a Frontier League game ever. Most first inning runs with 13, and most batters sent to the plate in the first inning with 18. A 1-1 to Maxwell. Catches the zone at the knees for a called strike 2. They have expanded that lead to 15-0 in the top of the 5th now. The 1-2 to Maxwell. Swinging strike 3. That one broke low and away, and Mikhail Hilliard gets himself a 1-2-3 inning. We make our way to the 4th. Evansville still down by 4. Top of the fourth inning, and Evansville bringing Zach Biermann to the plate. They've had one base runner, but have yet to find the hit column in this one. There were a couple of defensive changes here in the half inning. Still working on making sure we hammer those down. The couple I know about for sure is that Jake Gunter's moved to first, and because of that, Briley Ware has moved to third. Another ball up high. Takes the count to 2 balls, no strikes for Zach Biermann. Power lefty on a 2-0. Sends one right back up the middle. Gets to Deprita Johnson at short. He'll throw it over to first in time for out number 1. There's a lot of ground to cover for Deprita Johnson, but he made it look pretty simple. Worked towards his left, played that ball right behind second base. I mean, right behind it. And then went over to first for out number 1. So now Jeffrey Baez, the left fielder, at the plate. He lined out to right his first time up. First pitch to Baez, sits to straight center. Jacobson going back towards the wall, and it's off the base of the wall. Baez making his way to second, and he's got himself a sliding double, not only for the first hit of this half inning, but the first hit of the game for the Otters. So it looks like Feinstein, who was playing left, is now in right. Lane Barrymore is going to go play left. And that's what caused the rest of the changes. So Wallace, who was playing third, checked out of the game. Barrymore checking in for him. First pitch to Steven Sinsley. Stays just a bit outside for ball 1. A 1-0 towards Sinsley. Taken for a called strike, and his count evens up. 1 ball, 1 strike. The 1-1 gets away for a second from Fullerton, but he hops on it very quickly. So we'll go through the defensive alignment again since it's changed so much. Barrymore in left, Jacobson in center, Feinstein in right. Across the infield, Ware at third, Deprita Johnson at short, McGarry at second, Gunter at first. Two-1 on its way home to Sinsley. Called strike 2 on the inside edge, and right away he's either unhappy with himself or unhappy with the call. Counts evened up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the pitch comes home. Sinsley just sends it very shortly on the first base side. It's picked up by the pitcher Moyers. He'll go to first for out number 2. And it advances Baez to third. So Evansville has a man in scoring position. A man just 90 feet away with 2 outs, and J.R. Davis heading to the plate. J.R. Davis struck out his last time up, trying to avoid the same fate here. Takes a called strike 1 on the first pitch. Little bit of a breeze blowing out towards left center right now. As a 1-0 comes home to Davis. Sends the ball to the left side to Britton Johnson to make a tough backhanded grab. Throw to first, just barely in time. Davis was a half step short, and immediately Billy Easley is giving his thoughts on the play. But the Otters have themselves a opportunity here. Unable to bring a man home. We head to the bottom half of the fourth. Otters still trail by 4. Home half of the fourth inning here. And the Slammers bringing the 7, 8, 9 hitters to bat. Tyler Britton Johnson, J.P. Fullerton, and Kyle Jacobson. First pitch catches the inside edge for a called strike 1. A 1 sent home by Hilliard. It bounces in on the outside edge, evening the count. 1 ball, 1 strike for the shortstop, Britton Johnson. Ball is put out towards the right side. Is going to get well out of play for a foul ball, strike 2. The 1-2 sent home to Britton Johnson. A swinging strike 3. And Hilliard's got himself his 4th German-American Bank strikeout on the day.
Now batting catcher number 14, J.P. Fullerton.
So that'll bring up the catcher, J.P. Fullerton. As the first pitch comes home for a called strike 1. One out, base paths are empty. As the 0-1 makes its way home to Fullerton. Outside, evens the count. 1 ball, 1 strike. There is a man warming up for the Slammers right now in their pen. Evansville has sat down everyone in theirs. A 1-1 sent into play towards George Khalil. It takes a few hops, rolls towards him, and is able to pick it up and throw to first in time for out number 2. So with 2 down, nobody on, the 9-hole hitter, center fielder Kyle Jacobson, on his way to the plate. Finally stepping in is Jacobson. We're ready for the first pitch here of this third at-bat in the half inning. Hilliard fires home, and it is a bit high for ball one. A 1-0 pitch home. Swinging strike two is strike one is the result, and the count evens up. A 1-1 for Jacobson. Stays high, just above the elbows there again, and it's 2-1. Pitch comes home, and it's a swinging strike that takes us to an even 2-2 count. 2 outs, nobody on. A chance for Hilliard to grab his second strike out of the inning and send us to the fifth. A 2-2. He's fouled back in towards the netting, and the count will remain. Defense hasn't really had to change their alignment much tonight. A lot of slammer hitters that can hit just about anywhere. The 2-2 launched out towards shallow center field. Miles Gordon will head over towards the gap and bring it in for out number 3. We've played 4 full innings, and Joliet's holding on to a 4-0 advantage here in this one. It's Evansville Otters baseball, only on the Otters Digital Network. We are on to the top of the fifth inning and a new pitcher in for Joliet. As the first pitch comes home to Miles Gordon low and outside. Alec Thomas is going to get the nod out of the bullpen. And this call to the bullpen is presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. Called strike is even the count at 1-1. It is Thomas on the mound and Fullerton behind the plate. The pitcher catcher battery sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East. 1-1 to Gordon. He hits one towards the right side at the first baseman Gunter. He'll flip it to the pitcher Thomas for out number 1. So we can officially close the book on starter Steve Moyer. He gave up no runs on 1 hit in his 4 complete innings. Walked nobody, struck out 5. He was exceptional in the part of the game he saw. So George Khalil now the one making his way to the plate. With 1 out, nobody on. First pitch stays low and outside for ball 1. A 1-0, a half swing from Khalil. He decides to hang off, and it's a called strike anyway. So his count evens up. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, and the base is empty. Sunset in full effect here in Joliet. As I imagine the view for the right fielder at Feinstein is a bit tough. He's got that bright sun in his eyes now. A 2-1. Khalil pushes it to the right side, well foul. It's going to end up outside of the stadium. With it, the count evens up. 2 balls, 2 strikes for George Khalil. Two on the outside edge, left alone for ball 3. A 3-2. Lifted high and foul off towards the first base side. Gunter's underneath it, and he will bring it in for out number 2. A foul out there as the Otters 2 up, 2 down. Evansville's only gotten 2 men on base so far. An error allowed Armstrong on in the 3rd. He was immediately left on base on the next pitch to McNamee. Baez got himself a double in the 4th, but was stranded at 3rd as J.R. Davis grounded into a fielder's choice. The first pitch home to Brody Tanksley, taken for a called strike 1. A half swing from Tanksley. They go check on the first base umpire. He says no, he did not go around. Because of it, the count evens up at 1-1. This time he does go around. A hefty swing from Tanksley. It was foul tipped into the glove of Fullerton. Takes the count to 1-2. Breeze staying consistent out towards left field. That was a 1-2. Stays way inside on Tanksley. It evens his count at 2 balls, 2 strikes. The 2-2 home. Pushed down the right field line, but foul. My goodness. Brody Tanksley got a hold of that pitch. But it just kept hooking foul and foul and foul. A 2-2. Big curveball just missed on the inside edge. Many of the Joliet fielders thought it was strike 3 and were starting to jog towards their dugout. Instead, it takes the count to full. Payoff pitch to Tanksley. Put on the ground towards the Britta Johnson at short. He plays it into the glove and across to first 4 out, number 3. Otters can't find anything here in the 5th. We are at the Center Point Energy, center point of the game. Bottom of the 5th, coming at you next. Bottom of the 5th inning here at the Center Point Energy, center point of the game. And Evansville behind in this one, 4-0. Most of it coming in that very first inning. Final warm-up pitch has been tossed, and we're ready for bottom of the 5th baseball. Joliet's taking it back to the top of the order here to start the 5th. Matt McGarry, Briley Ware, and Lane Bearmore due up. Matt McGarry on his way to the plate. 0 for 1 with a fly out and a hit by pitch so far. First pitch home to McGarry. Finds the zone for a called strike 1. Oh, 1 is put down the right field line. Long run for Sinsley, and he will end up about, maybe 7 feet short over there. He made a good run towards him. That's a lot of ground to cover. Neither him nor McNamee could get there in time, so it falls for foul ball strike 2. An 0-2 count. That one skied high behind home. It's going to end up right on top of our press box here. And with it, takes the count to 0-2. Ready at the plate is McGarry. He skies it behind home. Actually, he works his way towards the middle of the infield, and it's Steven Sinsley who will bring in the pop out for out number 1.
Third baseman, number 23, Briley Ware.
So the 2-hole hitter, third baseman Briley Ware, is at the plate now. No official RBIs for him yet. First one being a walk, second one being a sacrifice fly RBI. Mikhail Hilliard fires home on the first pitch to Ware, who puts it towards right field and down for a base hit. McNamee will bring it in, and it's just going to be a long hit single. for Ware. And so far for Briley Ware in this, we're only in game 2, but in this series thus far, he has made every single at-bat useful. He's walked in 2, hit by pitch in 1, has singles in 3, and his only time he didn't reach base was a sacrifice fly RBI. Safe to say he's doing his job well. First pitch to Lane Baremore is put down the right field line and on the berm for strike 1. Lane Baremore checked in the top of the 4th for Paxton Wallace and moved to left field. 0-1 taken inside for a called strike. Quickly 0-2 in the count. It is the first at bat for Baremore here in this game. He did this as well yesterday. Filled in for Baremore in the middle of the game and ended up going 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. The 0-2 to Lane Baremore. Put towards right field. Long run for McNamee. He makes a wonderful diving catch for out number 2. McNamee decides to lay out for that one, and had it gotten past him, it surely would have been extra bases. Might have even scored a run. And McNamee makes another nice play this year to rob Lane Baremore of a hit. So to the right fielder, Matt Feinstein, we go. His last time up in this scenario with 2 outs and Briley Ware standing on first. He hit a 2-run home run to left field that, at least right now, gave the Slammers the lead. First pitch is in the dirt to Tanksley. 4-1. A long wait here before Hilliard restarts. He's up on the mound, looking in towards his catcher. Quickly has his sign, and the 1-0 makes its way towards the plate and Matt Feinstein, who cranks a ball towards center field. Gordon chasing back towards the wall at the warning track, and it's off the wall. 1 run's going to score, and the throw in from Gordon is only in time to make sure that Feinstein keeps himself at second base. An RBI double has extended the lead once again for Joliet. Otters are awfully happy right now that they're not playing at Bosse Field, because that would have left Bosse Field. The center field wall here at Joliet stands, I'm just guessing here, 14 feet is what it looks like, maybe 15 feet. But it certainly is, over what Bosse Fields is. And, dead center at Bosse, you can get it 8 feet off the ground. You're going to go over that temporary fence out there. Not here, as the ball is grounded right back up towards Hilliard. The throw over to first, and he overthrows first. So rounding third is Gunter, but immediately was Feinstein, but immediately Gunter was on the ground holding his knee once he hit first. He twisted just right and did something wrong with the knee. And immediately play was stopped, and everyone is rushing in to help him out. The training staff, his coaches, and even Elijah McNamee makes the walk in to grab his batting helmet. Hard to tell exactly what happened, but he is in incredible pain with his left knee. He is bending the knee as the athletic trainer for Joliet, Samantha Desharnais, works with him. Kind of looks like a dislocation of sorts as she's pulling at the knee to try to extend it a little bit. Officially, the Slammers are going to score another run, as Feinstein will come around to score on the error. And now standing up is Gunter, and he's walking around. Looks like he might have just landed wrong, dislocated the knee or something, and the trainer was able to hop it back in and help him out. He's walking around under his own power very easily now. And then he has his knee buckle from under him, and they are going to pull him out of this game. So Gunter was about to reach on the error on the pitcher. They'll bring in a pinch runner for him for right now that'll stand on first for him. On that error as well is how Matt Feinstein scores. And at least for right now, the pinch runner will be Philip Steering, who is also a catcher. Well, it is good to see that Gunter was able to walk off under his own power, but it also is, of course, scary. That's an injury you'd never like to see. If any time, any sport, a guy goes down and immediately grabs at that knee, man, the mind goes crazy with what could have happened. Is if you didn't see the play immediately, it was hard to tell. Thank goodness he's able to walk off under his own power. Lead has hit 6, by the way, because of that error. And the first pitch home to Carson Maxwell's outside for ball 1. So now there's 2 outs and a runner at first. Evansville is going to start to get a man warmed up out there in the left field pin now. A 1-0 is taken almost right down the middle for a called strike. That evens our count up, 1 ball, 1 strike. The 1-1 to Carson Maxwell. Skied in the infield. Chasing in is Armstrong. He calls everybody off, and he'll be the one that brings it in for out number 3. We head to the 6th inning. Joliet grabs 2 more runs, and they now lead by 6. Evansville trails by 6 as we head to the 6th, where the 9-1-2 hitters are due up. Armstrong, McNamee, and Biermann. First pitch home to Armstrong, taken for ball 1 low. And as expected, remaining in the game is Steering, and he will be at first base. The 1-0 is sent home and swung on, missed by Armstrong. With it, his count evens up at a ball and a strike. Armstrong was the first man to reach base in the game for the Otters. Reached on an error in the 3rd. Was immediately stranded there, though. 1-1 comes home. And it's pushed down the right field line. Will end up well foul onto the concourse, actually. It hooked hard once it came off the bat. So quickly a 1-2 count now for Andy Armstrong. Big curveball stays high and in. 2-2 the count to Andy Armstrong as we begin to look through the Frontier League standings once again. A 2-2. Fouled off out of play. Ottawa did get a 6-4 win against Quebec. That's a nice win for Ottawa to move themselves just a little bit closer to first. Sussex County holding on to a 16-0 advantage against New Jersey in the top of the 7th inning. And Lake Erie still up 4-0 on Florence in the 7th inning as well there. 2-2 sitting down the third base line, but just foul. In the bottom of the 5th, Trois-Rivières holding on to a 3-0 advantage at New York. Top of the 4th, finishing out the play in the East Division, Empire State up 6-2 at Tri-City. Then we move over to Western Division play. Windy City up 4-3 against Schaumburg. They're in the bottom of the 4th inning right now. And a called strike 3 is going to end the at-bat for Andy Armstrong. It's the first strikeout of Alec Thomas's day. So 4-3 in favor of Windy City in the bottom of the 4th against Schaumburg. In the bottom of the 3rd, Washington leads 1-0 at Gateway. The Wild Things looking to further extend their lead atop this Western Conference, Western Division. The first pitch to Elijah McNamee is low and outside, gets all the way back to the backstop, and would have bounced all the way back to the pitcher had the catcher Fullerton not stopped it. McNamee grounded out on the first pitch of each of his first 2 at-bats. That's the first pitch he's taken of the night. The 1-0 stays high for ball 2. And it feels like the first time all night we've seen an Otter ahead by 2 pitches in the count. 2-0 to McNamee. Well inside, make it 3-0 in favor of the Otters. Elijah McNamee with a chance to get himself a 4-pitch walk potentially. Otters have a man warming up at Zach Smith down there in the left field pen. Ball 4 comes across right near the foot of McNamee. And he gets himself a 4-pitch walk with 1 out here in the 6th.
Not bad. He's designated hitter number 45, Zach Biermann.
So we head to Zach Biermann now. The designated hitter is 0 for 2. We're going to go check on the runner, McNamee, who is back in time. 1 out, McNamee at first. Here in the top half of the 6th, Otters with a lot of work to do. They want to come back in this one. The first pitch to Zach Biermann. Low outside, ball 1. All started with 3 runs in the first for Joliet, and they just built on from there. A 1-0, swinging, strike 1, evens up Biermann's count at a ball and a strike. McNamee has himself a healthy lead over there at first. As the 1-1 comes home to Biermann, stays low, ball 2. A 2-1 on the way, and it stays low again. That one's near the ankles of Biermann. Defense playing with a very small pull towards the right side. And a 3-1 pitch. Zooms home. put on the ground towards the second baseman. They'll go to second for one, to first in time for the double play. McNamee was on the run to second, and they still beat him there for the double play. It's 4-6-3 officially, and we head to the bottom half of the sixth. Evansville trails by 6. We go to the bottom of the sixth inning, and a new pitcher on the mound for Evansville. They'll bring Zach Smith in out of the bullpen. And so ends the day of Mikhail Hilliard, his Otters debut tonight. We can close the book on him. He has a line of 6 runs allowed, only 5 of them earned on 6 hits in his 5 complete innings. He walked 1, struck out 4, gave up 2 doubles and 2 home runs. Those were the 2 big ones in the grand scheme of this game. First pitch to DePrita Johnson, sent to the left side on the run. Khalil will make the throw, and it's good for out number 1. Armstrong made that whole play. Didn't even really look like he worked hard on it. I mean, brought it up into his throwing hand without it even looking like it had been brought into his throwing hand, and made a solid throw 3 or 4 paces before DePrita Johnson could make it to first. And DePrita Johnson has some speed. So nice out number 1 there. It brings up J.P. Fullerton, who is 1 for 2, a double and a ground out. First pitch works towards the outside edge for a called strike 1 on Fullerton. Nice strong slider there from Zach Smith. The 0-1 comes home on the outside edge again, but low. And it evens the count at a ball and a strike. Don't forget, the series concludes tomorrow, 1:05 p.m. Not a late game for the Sunday matinee. You can catch the game right here on the Otters Digital Network shortly before 1:05 as we conclude this 3-game set at Joliet and conclude the 6-game road trip. Otters back in town on Tuesday night at historic Bosse Field. They'll face off with Windy City for a 3-gamer. You get your tickets now at EvansvilleOtters.com, or you can stop by the box office anytime starting Monday. And we would be happy to help you pick out your seats. 1-2 swung on. Foul tipped into the glove of Tanksley for a German American Bank strikeout, the first one of the day for Zach Smith.
Now batting center fielder number 15, Kyle Jacobson.
So that will now bring up Kyle Jacobson, the 9-hole hitter, is 1 for 2, a single and a flyout to his name thus far. First pitch home. Called strike almost right down the middle. Clouds are covering us, and we are sitting at a temperature of about 77 here in Joliet. Another beautiful night for baseball. There is some chance for some heavy rain later tonight, though. Pitch outside evens our count up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Swung on and missed. Takes the count to 1-2. Really chasing that pitch was Kyle Jacobson. He ran towards that low outside corner. The 1-2 is half swung on, but Jacobson was able to keep from pulling the trigger, and his count evens up at 2 balls, 2 strikes now. The 2-2. On the outside edge, a called strike 3. Zach Smith gets back-to-back German American Bank strikeouts to end the half inning. And with it, we head to the 7th, the back third of this one. Evansville still down by 6. Into the back third of this one. Top of the 7th coming at you here on the Otters Digital Network, and Evansville trailing 6-0. Hoping to get that scoreboard changed a bit will be the 3-4-5 hitters of Jeffrey Baez, Steven Sinsley, and J.R. Davis. So far, the only Otter hit of the night belongs to Jeffrey Baez. It was a double back in the 4th inning. First pitch to him here is well outside, ball 1. A 1-0 pitch stays low and outside, and Jeffrey Baez won't bite at it. So he takes a 2-pitch lead, 2 balls, no strikes. Quickly, the 2-0 heads home. Again outside, and again Baez watches it go by. 3-0 the count. Otters only had 3 base runners all night, and Baez is trying to do it for the second time. Pitch right down the middle is good for a called strike 1. The 3-1. Called strike 2. Baez watched it again. He's watched all 5 pitches so far of this at-bat. A 3-2 sent on the ground to the left side. Ware will charge in. His throw to first. Off to the side a bit, but in time for out number 1.
Now batting first baseman number 21, Stephen Sensley.
So Stephen Sensley making his way to the plate with 1 out and nobody on. It's a called strike 1 that immediately has Stephen Sensley back in the count by a strike. An 0-1 pitch stays on the outside edge, evening the count at a ball and a strike. The 1-1 sent right back up the middle into the glove of Thomas. He'll toss to first easily for the second out of the inning.
Now batting third baseman number 2, J.R. Davis.
J.R. Davis will be the last hope here in the 7th. J.R. Davis on the day, 0 for 2, a strikeout and a grounded to fielder's choice. First pitch home. Catches the zone on the outside edge, a called strike 1. An 0-1. Again fouled back into the netting. So that makes everything stop for a second as we reset. Evansville's trying to avoid getting shut out. The last time that happened was a 3-0 loss to Washington back on the 16th of July. Crazy to think that on that night that the Otters were shut out, it dropped them to 1 game back of Washington. Tonight, if they were shut out, it would drop them to 10.5 games back of Washington. My, how things can change in just about a month. 1 ball, 2 strikes for J.R. Davis. Here with 2 outs and nobody on in the 7th. Evansville looking for any amount of offense right now. 1-2, swung on and missed. Davis chased it way outside. It's 3 up, 3 down for Evansville. And we head to the middle of the 7th. Time to stretch wherever you're listening from. Bottom of the 7th comes at you next on the Otters Digital Network. Bottom of the 7th inning here from Joliet. Otters looking for anything offensively, and defensively they're going to ask Zach Smith to keep things right where they're at. He had a nice 3-up, 3-down inning in his first inning back in the 6th. He'll have to do it against the leadoff three of Gary Ware and Biermann now in this half. First pitch is a called strike to Matt McGarry. Second taken before the 0-2 pitch as McGarry stepped out 2 separate times. An 0-2. Sent on the ground towards Khalil. He'll play it to his left side. The throw over to first is in plenty of time for out number 1. Certainly one of the plus sides from this entire 6-game road trip so far, even though this is only game 5. I really like the play of George Khalil out there in the defensive side of things. I mean, stop me if you've heard this, but George Khalil's being consistent and amazing at shortstop. It's been an all-year thing for him. Really struggled out the gate, but ever since that 3rd or 4th week, he's had it on at the shortstop position, and he's been a lot of fun to watch. First pitch home to Briley Ware. Stays low and inside for ball 1. The 1-0 pitch to Briley Ware. Again stays inside. 2-0. Briley Ware is from Wichita, Kansas. Same place I'm from, actually. Went to Sedgwick High School before attending the University of Oklahoma for a couple of years before being drafted by St. Louis in the 2019 draft. He played for 1 year in the low A division of St. Louis before falling out and into the independent leagues where he's played for Joliet the last couple of years. A 2-1. Ware puts it down the right field line. Will end up foul enough on the berm over there. In fact, last summer I was working at baseball tournaments in Wichita, Kansas, and one of the interns that worked alongside me, actually Briley Ware's sister. 2-2 comes home. It's still on the ground towards Sinsley at first. He says, "I'll take it myself," and stomps on first just before Ware for out number 2. Ended up being another close play over there at first. So Lane Biermann makes his way back to the plate. He's 0 for 1 on the day after coming in to relieve Paxton Wallace of duty in the 4th inning. He was a defensive change that ended up then hitting as well. Lined out to right field his first time up. First pitch home to him here. Stays a bit high for ball 1. In fact, his outs was a incredible play from McNamee out there in right field. Made a diving play. The 1-0 pitch to Biermann is sent out towards left. Baez is going to chase in and just gets there in time for out number 3. It's been 6 up, 6 down for Zach Smith on the mound for the Otters. With it, we head to the 8th. Evansville still looking for runs. Top half of the eighth here on the Otters Digital Network. Due up in the half inning for Evansville will be Miles Gordon, George Khalil, and Brody Tanksley. Miles Gordon steps in 0 for 2 on the day, a strikeout and a ground out to the first baseman. First pitch to him, stays a bit inside for ball 1. Defense has the corners playing in just a little bit, and the middle infielders playing back. Ball is fouled back into the netting for Miles Gordon. Now he'll get set on the 1-1. Ball's outside. The count goes to 2 balls, 1 strike. Two 2-1 to Gordon. He swings at a high outside one. Our count evens up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The 2-2 to Gordon, and it's fouled back into the helmets of Fullerton and back towards the backstop. With it, the count just remains at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Pitch is on the way from Thomas, again fouled back into the netting. Good work from Gordon to keep himself alive in this count, keep fighting at the plate. Has another try on the 2-2, heads home. That one's taken for ball 3. Full count pitch. Stays high, ball 4. And Miles Gordon gets himself on base with a very hard-earned walk here to start off the 8th inning.
Now batting shortstop number 28, George Khalil.
So now George Khalil makes his way to the plate. 1 man on, nobody out. Top of the 8th inning. Khalil's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a foul out on the day. First pitch under Khalil, sent towards the left side. Long run for DePrita Johnson to second for 1, to first. In time. 6-4-3 on the double play, and all that hard work from Gordon immediately taken away from the Otters. And with it, there's 2 outs now, nobody on. With Brody Tanksley striding in. First pitch to Tanksley is grounded towards the left side, will stay foul. Top that ball pretty good. No balls, 1 strike now for Brody Tanksley. 2 outs, nobody on. Here in the top half of the 8th inning, Otters with a whole lot of work to do. 0-1, taken almost right down the middle for a called strike 2. And a swinging strike 3 will lay things to rest in the 8th. We go to the bottom half of the 8th. Evansville still looking to do something offensively. Bottom of the 8th inning, Evansville down by 6. And Zach Smith's going to remain in this game to face off with Mac Feinstein, Philip Steering, and Carson Maxwell here in the half inning. Smith has been good so far since he entered to start the 6th inning. It's been 6 up, 6 down against him. 3 groundouts, flyouts, and 2 strikeouts. First pitch home is right down the middle for a called strike 1. Matt Feinstein has himself 2 separate RBI hits today, one a 2-run home run, the other an RBI double. And he takes another called strike, this one on the inside edge. So he's down 0-2 in the count. The 0-2 pitch home. Outside, and my goodness, Feinstein really leaned over that one, trying to keep himself disciplined as it looked good. A 1-2 heads home. Stays high. That's an easy one to lay off for ball 2. Two balls, 2 strikes to Matt Feinstein. The pitch on the way. Called strike 3 just above the knees. And it's the 3rd German American Bank strikeout for Zach Smith. Strong pitch there from him. So now Philip Steering will get his first opportunity with a bat in his hands after subbing on there after the injury to Jake Gunter. He brings in a .236 batting average. And the first pitch to him is a called strike. Last time I looked down there, I can't see him right now, but last time I looked down at the dugout for Joliet, I did see Jake Gunter up there with his teammates on the railing, so that's uplifting to see that he's still able to stand and be around the team. 0-1 stays well outside to even our count up at a ball and a strike. Again, don't forget tomorrow's game starts at 1:05, a matinee here to end the road trip for Evansville. You can catch the game right here on the Otters Digital Network. I'll bring every pitch to you. The 1-1 stays just a bit low. Man, Steering just about cranked around and swung at that one, but it worked away from the zone. He was able to stay disciplined, and because of it, he advances in the count to 2-1. A 2-1 is fouled off the foot and into fair play, but it is still foul. So the count's evened up at 2 balls and 2 strikes for the new first baseman, Philip Steering. There's 1 out and nobody on here in this bottom half of the 8th inning. Zach Smith looks in and now will kick and deliver on the 2-2. Called strike 3, and it's back-to-back German American Bank strikeout lookings from Zach Smith.
Designated hitter number 28, Carson Maxwell.
And now 4 of the 8 outs he's recorded have been via the strikeouts. Good work from Zach Smith. So Carson Maxwell, the designated hitter for the Slammers, at the plate now. On the day, he's 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts and a pop-out. First pitch home. Comes across for a called strike 1. The 0-1. Almost right down the middle. Called strike 2, and immediately Zach Smith has himself in a place where he could strike out the side. So Smith looks in towards his catcher, Tanksley, nods quickly, and kicks and deals. Called strike 3 right down the middle. He strikes out the side looking here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. We go to the 9th. Otters need 6 runs to find their way back into this one. Conclusion comes at you next on the Otters Digital Network. Top of the 9th inning, and if Evansville wants to come back in this one, they are out of time. It has to be right now. They're down by 6. And it'll be Armstrong, McNamee, and Biermann who will kick off the half inning. Andy Armstrong strides in, 0 for 2, reached on an error back in the 3rd inning, and then was able, or then struck out in the 6th. First pitch home to him here is well outside for ball 1. We have a pitching change as well. John Witkowski will come in out of the bullpen for Joliet. This call to the bullpen is presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. A 1-0 pitch to Armstrong. Catches the zone on the outside edge and evens our count up at a ball and a strike. Witkowski's on the mound. Fullerton's behind the plate. That pitcher-catcher battery is sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. As the pitch is sent towards Ware on the left side of the infield, a strong throw to first will beat Armstrong by quite a few paces. We're out number 1. And back to the top of the order we go. Elijah McNamee making his way to the plate. He is 0 for 2. A couple of ground outs and a walk so far for him. First pitch home to McNamee's outside for ball 1. One ball, no strikes as the pitch comes home from Witkowski, almost right down the middle, and our count's evened up at a ball and a strike. Defense is set up for McNamee to push the ball. There's a huge gap in left center field. I mean, it is massive out there. 1-1, and McNamee is caught swinging at an outside pitch for strike 2. So now Evansville's got to find something quickly. A 1-2 stays low and outside. And McNamee will remain active. The 2-2 pitch is sent foul to the right side. Will get high and out of play. The 2-2 sent towards the left side. DePrita Johnson tries to backhand it, and it gets through for what I believe should be a base hit. He tried to backhand and was ready to come up and throw towards first, but it went right underneath his glove. And it will be a base hit, the second of the game for Evansville. Finally comes in the 9th inning. We've got a runner at first, just one out. First pitch home, high and outside, ball 1. Another pitch high and outside. Biermann sees his counts go to 2-0. A 2-0 pitch to Biermann, fouled back into the netting. It was a good swing from him, but he was just to the outside edge. McNamee stands on first. There's one out. Otters still trail by 6. The 2-1 pitch to Biermann. Thinks about going around, and it stays high and outside. Ball 3. The 3-1 pitch, skied out towards left field. Long run for Biermann. He's underneath it, though, for out number 2. Got a good first step and was there pretty quickly. And with it now, Jeffrey Baez makes his way to the plate. Jeffrey Baez is 1 for 3 on the day. Prior to this 9th inning, he had the sole hit for Evansville in the game, prior to McNamee's single. Really good crowd on hand here tonight at Joliet. They had a good crowd last night as well. First pitch to Baez, well outside for ball 1. Again, 1:05 is when we kick off tomorrow's game. The 1-0 pitch is sent foul to the right side. It's going to get out of play and end up on the roof and come zooming down into the seating area. So we reset for a 1-1, and Baez way out ahead, swinging at a pitch there. Count falls back to 1 ball, 2 strikes. A 1-2 is well outside. So we will even up at 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner at first is Elijah McNamee. A little bit of a wait here before we get ready on the 2-2. Shaking off a couple pitches is Wachowski. Finally ready for the 2-2 pitch to Jeffrey Baez. On the way. A half swing. Did he go? They say no, and we will have a full count here in the top of the 9th inning. So we reset prior to the 3-2. Running was Armstrong. It won't matter because it's a pitch low for ball 4. The Otters have runners at first and second. First time all night they've had multiple runners in the same half inning. So with that, Steven Sinsley will make his way to the plate. He's 0 for 3 with 2 groundouts and a strikeout. Ball is skied out towards right field. My goodness, that one is gone. Oh my, say goodbye to that ball. Steven Sinsley zooms one out of here to right. And the Otters have cut the deficit in half. Unfortunately, they have 2 outs here in the 9th. Still need more work to be done. So a 3-run home run for the Otters has at least prevented the shutout. Steven Sinsley absolutely lasered one to right field. It was a moonshot. And it brings in J.R. Davis. First pitch is low and outside for ball 1. If nothing else, this gives the Otters at least some positive momentum going into tomorrow's game, which they certainly needed. They needed something to go their way in the late stages of this game. They could feed off the energy a little bit. A called strike's going to even this count up at a ball and a strike. An outside pitch, and Davis goes stepping forward to swing well outside. And with it, the Otters are now down to their last strike in this one. The 1-2 to Davis. Put in play to the right side. It'll be picked up by Steering, the first baseman. He'll step on first himself. And that's how this one ends. Joliet gets the win, but not before Steven Sinsley has at least something to say about it. He gets a 3-run home run here at the top of the 9th, but it's not enough to defeat Joliet. They win this one 6-3, and the series goes to the Slammers. Evansville will look to at least grab one of the 3 games in tomorrow's matinee series finale. 1:05 is our first pitch tomorrow. But first, let's take a look at a couple final scores around the league and how those might affect Evansville in the grand scheme of things. Evansville with the loss would drop to 10.5 games back if Washington fell. Washington's currently tied at 1 run apiece at Gateway. They're in the top of the 6th. Schaumburg trails at Windy City 4-3 in the bottom of the 7th. If Schaumburg falls in that game, then Evansville will remain just the 1 game behind them here in the West Division. Elsewhere around the league, Empire State holding on to a 6-4 lead at Tri-City. They're in the 5th inning. Lake Erie's up their lead against Florence to 5-1. Sussex County defeats New Jersey 16-2. They scored 13 runs in the first inning, setting a Frontier League record. Ottawa got themselves a good 6-4 win against Quebec. That'll do it for our coverage here on the Otters Digital Network. I want to say thank you for tuning in to the Evansville Otters. A lot of things you can do with your Saturday evening, and we are so thankful that you've taken the time with the Evansville Otters as things don't quite go the Otters' way tonight. They lose this one 6-3, and will try to find some redemption tomorrow afternoon against the Joliet Slammers. First pitch scheduled for 1:05 p.m. Shortly prior to that, you can catch pregame right here on the Otters Digital Network. I'm Matthew Will saying thank you and so long from beautiful Joliet, Illinois. Game 3 tomorrow, 1:05 p.m. We'll talk to you then.